Today we're going to be installing the Powerflex Transmission Mount Inserts on our 2020 Macan project car. This is going to help reduce some of the drivetrain power loss as well as the flex in the transmission mount, which will create a more solid shift and hopefully less clunkiness between gears. Here's what you get in the box. These are the street polyurethane bushings, and so these are going to be a little bit softer than the race polyurethane. They are built to the same mold, the same spec, so they're going to fill in the gaps the same. This is going to be for a little bit more comfort, but the race bushing is going to be a little harder and really stiffen up the transmission mount. Now let's get these over to the car and get them installed and see how it looks. So we went ahead and removed the lower under tray of the car to have access to the transmission mount. You can see the cradle right here is held in by 4 triple square bolts. Those are Porsche and Volkswagen specific. And then we have a few 13mm nuts that are holding that to the mount. So to get this cradle down, we're gonna have to support the transmission. So this is probably an installation better left to a shop, or if you have enough tools and a jack stand at home, you might be able to do it on the ground, but you're really gonna be working for it. So let's get this cradle removed and then we'll have better access. We'll be able to see the transmission mount, and then we can go ahead and install our transmission mount inserts. So now we're looking at this transmission mount from the side. We have our jack stand that's holding up the transmission right here, and you can see some of the play in the factory mount. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these 2 screws that hold the mount in, and then we'll be able to insert our inserts on the top and bottom, screw everything in, put the cradle back up, it should be good to go. So here's what the transmission mount bushing looks like removed from the Macan. This is gonna be the correct orientation, so the stud's facing down. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our smaller piece and we're gonna slip that in on top here. And then we're gonna take our larger piece and that's gonna go on the bottom end. And you can tell that these are really molded to a really good size. So they fit well, they slide in there, and they're gonna basically fill all the gaps in that rubber bushing with polyurethane. It's a pretty common strategy to fill rubber bushings with polyurethane because it stiffens up and increases the overall life, and it also improves performance and reduces drivetrain power loss. So now that this is all sandwiched together, I think we can go ahead and reinstall it in the car. So that is gonna go right there like that, like so. We're gonna lock it in place using this 13mm nut. Tighten that down, and then we can get our carrier in here as well. Now, wow, I can already tell that this is making a huge difference. So there is like very little play now. You saw before how we could just move that bushing around, but now it is solid. I think it looks cool too. Now we're going to reinstall our transmission cradle. So there you go, the transmission cradle is back installed. Our Powerflex bushing is wedged in there. We're gonna have reduced torque on the bushing here, and that's gonna be a big positive. So now let's get the under trays back on so we can test drive this. So here we go, initial driving impressions with the Powerflex bushings installed.
Looks like you can feel the car feels a little more connected. Solid.
I can definitely hear the difference. I mean, there was an audible kind of more clunk feel coming from the transmission tunnel before. It definitely seems like the power is getting transferred directly to the back of the car.
Yeah, let's just try to get a little first gear dig because you'll feel a little more in the low gear.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Yeah, that's
a lot more solid feeling.
That's very noticeable. So final thoughts on the transmission mount is that it does really help transfer the power to the back of the car so the car feels more solid, especially between gears. The shifting is a lot smoother and it doesn't feel like the transmission's moving around as much. We have the street bushing equipped today. You do have the option to go with a race bushing, which is going to be a harder polyurethane compound, and it will probably transfer a little more drivetrain noise or vibration into the cabin, whereas here on this street bushing you can barely tell the difference. So that's what we think of the Powerflex Transmission Mount Insert for Macan models. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or reach out to us directly at flat6motorsports.com. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.